Hello, my dear curious and studious students of surgery. Myself, Dr. Mahesh Chaudhary. I am warm welcoming you in my surgery lecture series. This surgery lecture series contains entire surgery with anesthesia, with radiology, with orthopedic. So stay tuned with us. Let's start our surgery lecture series. Welcome, dear students, in my surgery lecture number 97, that is the thyroid and parathyroid. In this lecture, we will explore the embryology of the thyroid and parathyroid, anatomy, nerve supply, physiology and hormone synthesis, effect of the thyroid hormone, feedback mechanism of the thyroid secretions, assessment of the thyroid function, goiter, simple goiter, diffuse hyperplastic goiter, toxic goiter, Graves' disease, treatment, that is the conservative and surgical treatment of the thyroid and parathyroid disease, post-operative complications, thyroid crisis or STAR, tumors of the thyroid, thyroiditis, hypothyroidism, parathyroid, embryology, anatomy and physiology, hyperparathyroid and hypoparathyroidism. All points are covered in this lecture. Now start with me to explore the thyroid and the parathyroids. First, we will start with the embryology. The thyroid gland is developed as a median thickening of the ectoderm. In the floor of the pharynx, between the levels of the first and second pharyngeal pouches, gradually a median diverticulum is formed in the latter half of the fourth week immediately caudal to the tuberculum impar. It grows caudally as a tubular duct which bifurcates and subsequently divided into the series of the double cellular plates from which the isthmus and the lateral lobes of the thyroid glands are developed. And this is the embryology in the short. Dear students, here is a good picture of the thyroid and parathyroid. Thyroid gland is clearly seen the front view and the thyroid gland's back view. There are pair of the parathyroid glands is also seen in the yellow color. Second image showing the thyroid and parathyroid glands. Now the anatomy. In short, highly vascular organ, endocrine gland, situated in the lower part of the front and side of the neck, regulates the basal metabolic rate, stimulates the somatic and psychic growth, plays as an important role in calcium metabolism. Two lobes is there, right and left, joined to each other by the isthmus, lies against the vertebrae, that is the C5, C6, C7 and T1. Two types of the secrecy cells there. One is the follicular cells, second is the parafollicular cells. Follicular cells, triiodothyronine, that is the T3, and tetraiodothyronine, T4. These cells secrete the two hormones, and parafollicular cells, that is the C cell, that is the hypocalcemia. This is due to the parafollicular cells. Dimensions of the thyroids are 5 by 2.5 by 2.5 centimeter. Isthmus is 1.2 to 1.2 centimeter. Isthmus lies in front of the second and third rings of the trachea. Now the capsule of the thyroid. There are two capsules, true capsule and false capsule. True capsule, fascia propria, is a fibrous and fibrous capsule. False capsule made from the facial sheath and derived from the pretracheal layers of the deep crucial fascia. Thyroid moves with the deglutition due to its attachment to the larynx and trachea as follows. The ligament of the berry on either side, post lamina of the berry pretracheal fascia close to the trachea, and a fibromuscular slip from pyramidal lobe of hyoid bone and levator granuli thyroidi. Blood supply to the thyroid are from the superior thyroid artery and the inferior thyroid artery. These are the thyrocervical trunk. Venous drainage from the superior thyroid vein, middle thyroid vein, inferior thyroid vein and a fourth thyroid vein of Kochar. Now the nerve supply to the thyroid are sympathetic, are superior, middle and inferior cervical ganglion, and parasympathetic derived from the external laryngeal nerve and the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Recurrent laryngeal nerve is the most important, playing the most important role. Vagus nerve supply is from the recurrent laryngeal nerve and superior laryngeal nerve, that is the internal laryngeal nerve and external laryngeal nerve. There is the two types of the recurrent laryngeal nerve. External laryngeal nerve close to the superior thyroid artery, recurrent laryngeal nerve close to the inferior thyroid artery. It supplies all the muscles of the larynx except the cricothyroid, involved in ligature and is injured, failure of the adduction and adduction of the vocal cord. So that's why the recurrent laryngeal nerve is important and should be must be preserved. Histology made up of the multiple acini or follicles filled with the pink staining proteinaceous material, that is the colloid material. Physiology of the thyroid is principal hormone is the thyroxine. Iodine contains amino acid triiodothyronine. Iodine molecules 353 position and reverse of this hormone is the triiodothyronine, that is the iodine molecule is a 335 position. Now the thyroid hormone synthesis. How the thyroid hormones synthesize? Ingested iodine is converted into iodide and absorbed into the small intestine. 98% of the absorbed iodine is taken up by the thyroid. At normal plasma, iodide level excretion through the urine is about 15 nanomilligram per day. Thyroid glands. Here is a good picture showing the thyroid hormone synthesis. Thyroid gland, iodide oxidation by the enzymes oxidase and iodine attach the 3 position of the thyroid molecule from the monoiodothyroxine. Next is the iodinated in 5 position, and the next step of the hormone synthesis is the diiodothyroxine molecule. By the 2-diiodothyroxine molecule oxidation, coordination and thyroxine hormone is synthesized. Now the condensation of the monoiodothyroxine with diiodothyroxine, that is the position 1 plus 2, is the triiodothyroxine 3. TSH administration in the blood, then iodide intake increase, then thyroxine synthesis, blood flow in the gland increases, the cell hypertrophy and weight of the gland rises. The plasma protein which bind thyroid hormones are thyroxine binding globulin, thyroxine binding prealbumin and albumin. Effects of the thyroid hormone, that is the calorigenic action of the thyroxine, that is the increase of the O2 consumption and increase of the nitrogen excretion. Second is the effect of the nervous system, that is the on the peripheral nervous system. Effect on the carbohydrate metabolism, that is increase the rate of the absorption. Effect on the cholesterol metabolism. Relation to catecholamines, cardiovascular effect. Tremors, sweating produced by the thyroxine can be blocked by the drugs such as the reserpine, propranolol, beta adrenergic blocks. Effects on growth of the development. Next is the hypothyroid bone growth, slow epiphyseal closure is delayed. Now the control of the thyroid secretion, there is a feedback mechanism. TSH, which is an anti-respiratory hormone, stimulates the thyroid to produce the thyroxine. Thyroxine in its turn inhibits the TSH secretion, which is known as the feedback mechanism. Electrical stimulation of the hypothalamus causes increased TSH secretion. The substance that stimulates TSH secretion from hypothalamus is thyrotropin releasing factor, that is the TRF. This releasing factor is apparently secreted in the portal vessels in the median eminence. The part of the hypothalamus which is concerned with the production of TRF is the region in and above the rostral end of the median eminence. TRF production is increased by cold and decreased by heat. Now the antithyroid drug, there are two major categories of the antithyroid drugs are there. The first, comparing the perchlorate and thiocyanate, prevents uptake of iodine by the thyroid gland. The second group is include the organic substances like thiourea and derivatives from the neomercazole, which prevent the binding of the iodine and tyrosine radicals. The action of this group of drug is independent of the level of the blood iodide. Now the assessment of the thyroid functions. In generally, there is no single procedure considered reliable basis on the diagnosis, and therefore a combination of the various tests is generally required to assess the thyroid function. An in vitro test, the serum protein bound iodine, that is the PBI, serum T4, T3 resin update, free thyroxine index, serum thyroid stimulating hormone, that is the TSH, test of the hypothalamic pituitary axis of the TRH test, miscellaneous other tests like basal metabolic rate BMR, serum cholesterol determination, tendon reflexes, measurement of the LATs and antibodies to the serum, and in vivo test, uptake test, T3 suppression test, that is the Werner, TSH stimulation test, thyroid scan. All these are the assessment for the thyroid function. Now goiter. The term goiter is derived from the French word goiter, which is originally derived from the Latin word gutter, means a throat. We use the term goiter to denote the enlargement of the thyroid gland irrespective of its cause. A few texts have been described goiter as a benign enlargement of the thyroid gland, usually associated with the normal production of the thyroid hormone. Now the goiter is classified as simple goiter, toxic goiter, neuroplastic goiter and thyroiditis and other rare conditions. Simple goiter is a diffuse hyperplastic goiter, nodular goiter, colloid goiter. Toxic goiter is a diffuse toxic goiter, that is the Graves' disease, toxic nodular goiter and toxic nodules. Neoplastics, benign tumors and malignant tumors of the thyroid. Thyroiditis, autoimmune thyroiditis, subacute and granulomatous or decurrent thyroiditis, Rendel's thyroiditis, and fifth is the other rare conditions. Dear students, here is a good image is showing on your screen is the simple goiter. Same picture is here. Now we start the simple goiter. The etiology of this disease is this goiter is mainly formed due to the stimulation with increased TSH. due to the low level of the circulating thyroid hormone, and if decrease the production of the thyroid hormone may lead formation of the simple goiter. There is a subtypes like familial goiter, endemic goiter, goitrogens, physiological goiter and sporadic goiter. Familial goiter inherited from the autosomal recessive gene, where the endemic goiter do not get minimum requirement of the iodine. Goitrogens low iodine content. Physiological goiter is the high metabolic demands diffuse hyperplastic goiter. Sporadic goiter impaired efficiency of thyroid glands and due to the hypersecretion of TSH. Now the pathology in the goiter is clear. At the first stage, due to the TSH stimulation, lobules are composed of active follicles. This stage of the diffuse hyperplasia. TSH stimulation causes by the injection of the iodine. Next stage is the second stage, appears stage of the investigation, forming large follicles filled with colloid, and third stage, gland enlarges colloid goiter. Now the next entity is the diffuse hyperplastic goiter. Females are more oftenly affected in the ratio of 9:1. Penrose syndrome, deaf and goiterous patients since infancy. In the nodular goiter, patient is usually females and they are in late 30s and 40s it develop. Colloid goiter, the patient are usually above the 25 years of age. Now the complications of this simple goiter are, this is particularly concerned in case of the nodal goiter and colloid goiters, and these are the secondary thyrotoxicosis, tracheal obstruction and carcinoma. Secondary thyrotoxicosis may complicate about 30% of the nodular goiters, where the tracheal obstructions due to the substernal prolongation of the goiter or may be seen in the huge goiters. Carcinoma, through this is not common in the simple goiter, yet there is a exclusion of the possibilities in case of the all nodular goiters. Now the prevention and treatment of the non-nodular goiter are: salt should be contained in diet, thyroxine 0.3 mg per day for few months, gradually reduce 0.1 mg per day for few years, operation thyroidectomy for the simple goiter. This is also the picture of the simple goiter. This is a huge goiter, colloid goiter. Now the treatment of the nodular goiter are thyroxine and thyroid extract 120 to 180 mg per day for multinodular changes in only seen in one lobe, that is the total lobectomy. Post-operatively 0.1 mg of L-thyroxine daily to prevent the recurrence by depressing TSH. Now treatment of colloid goiter, partial thyroidectomy is necessary. On and above, the normal amount of the thyroid tissue is preserved and the rest is excised. What is felt behind is not absolutely functioning, so patient will be the hypothyroid state following operation, will require replacement of hormone therapy. Now the retrocerebral goiter mainly derived from the lower pole of the multinodal goiters. Retrocerebral goiter develops from the ectopic thyroid tissues. Classifications as the substernal goiter, plunging goiter and intrathoracic goiter. The treatment of the retrocerebral goiter is the symptomless goiter, may not be requires any treatment, surgery, resection of the retrosternal goiter through the neck incision. Needle biopsy should be done in this case: fine needle aspiration biopsy, large needle aspiration biopsy and cutting needle biopsy. These are the three types of the needle biopsy. Now the toxic goiter, this toxic goiter excess secretions of active thyroid hormone. The causes of the thyroid toxicosis are the Graves' disease, toxic multinodular goiter, toxic adenoma. Rare causes are early stage of the De Quervain's thyroiditis, Jabez-Doe syndrome, thyrotoxicosis, bacteria, trauma, ovary, iatrogenic hyperthyroidism, disseminated thyroid autonomy, neonatal thyrotoxics are the rare causes for the toxic goiter, and distinct type is the primary toxic goiter and secondary toxic goiter. Now the Graves' disease or diffuse toxic goiter or primary toxic goiter. It is diffuse goiter affecting whole of the functioning thyroid tissues, causing hypertrophy and hyperplasia due to the abnormal thyroid stimulant such as the LATs, LATS. Now the etiology, the cause of the Graves' disease is not very clearly known. It is considered to be the systemic autoimmune disease in which there are three components. One is the hyperthyroidism, second is the exophthalmos, and third is the dermopathy called the petechial myxedema. Etiology of the Graves' disease are binding of the antibodies to the TSH receptor, then stimulates the thyroid functions and then develop the hyperthyroidism. Dear students, here is a clear-cut picture of the exophthalmos in the Graves' disease. This is the particular sign of this disease. Now the contributory factors in the etiology are hereditary, sex, emotional disturbances. In the hereditary, Graves' disease is often seen in the several numbers of the same family, and in the sex, there is hardly any doubt of this condition affects female more than males. The ratio is 6:1. Third is the emotional disturbances. Different types of the stresses have been incremented in the case of the condition, but its importance is still in question. Now the pathology in the Graves' disease disease, the thyroid uniformly enlarged and the surface is characteristically smooth. Though slight nodularity may be detected microscopically, the thyroid is a hyperplastic and the epithelia which lines the acini are high columnar instead of the flattened cuboidal type which is found in normal thyroid gland. There is only minimal amount of colloid in the acini and many of them are even empty and others contain vacuolated colloid. The nuclei of the thyroid cells exhibit mitosis and papillary projections of the hyperplastic epithelium into the acini are common. Lastly, there is an increase of the vascularity and lymphoid tissues around the acini. Now the clinical features in the Graves' disease. First is the goiter. Second is the thyrotoxicosis, emotionally unstable, muscle weakness, wasting of the muscles, tremors, increase the swelling and thirst, increase the appetite and decrease the weight. These are the clinical features in the Graves' disease. Secondary thyrotoxicosis, when effects previously existent multinodal goiter or nodal goiter, tachycardia, sleeping pulse mostly over 80 per minute. That's why in the secondary thyrotoxicosis, sleeping pulse should be count. Exophthalmos, protrusion of the eyeballs as we see in the image in this lecture previously. Eye signs of the Graves' disease are spasm of the upper eyelid with lid retraction, proptosis with widening of the palpable tissue, supraorbital and intraorbital swelling, congestion, edema and chymosis of the conjunctiva, papillary edema and corneal ulceration, external ophthalmoplegia and weakness of the extrinsic ocular muscles. Exophthalmos, the main sign of the Graves' disease is the exophthalmos. Exophthalmos means the protrusion of the eyeball. Relation of the exophthalmos with Graves' disease is very peculiar. On one hand, it is the truth that the severe thyroiditis may not be necessarily accompanied by the exophthalmos. On the other hand, the exophthalmos may be the only manifestation of the Graves' disease. Apparently, due to the spasm and irritation of the upper eyelid, mainly cause of the sympathetic nerve irritation, and true is the mild form and severe form due to the liberation of the special pituitary hormone, that is the exophthalmos producing hormone EPN. Other signs are that is the Owen-Graffius sign. When the patient is asked to look down, his upper eyelid fails to follow the rotation of the eyeball and thus lags behind. Second is the Geoffroy's sign. When the patient is asked to look upwards with the head fixed, there will be absence of the wrinkling on the forehead. Third is the Mebius sign, failure to the convergence of eyeballs. And fourth sign is the Dalrymple sign. Normally, the upper sclera is not seen, but when the sign becomes positive, the upper sclera will be seen due to the retraction of the upper eyelid. And next is the Stellback sign, absence of normal blinking, that is the staring look. Now, the diagnosis and special investigations in the Graves' disease are: Wayne's clinical diagnostic index shows the signs and the present absent, scoring the marks. Finger tremors is there +1, exophthalmos +2, lid retraction is there +2, and brute overthyroid +2, and in absent -2, palpitations +2, palpable thyroid +3, pulse rate 90 per minute +3. If it is normal, no calculation, no scoring, but absent -3, excessive sweating +3, appetite increase +3, appetite decrease is there, then it is absent -3 should be count. Weight increase -3 point, weight decrease +3, arterial fibrillation +4 points, and preference for cold is +5, and preference for heat, that is the -5. If this index over 19, that is the toxic goiter, and if this index below the 11, that is the non-toxic goiter, should be count and treated. Now the treatment is: first is the antithyroid drug, radioactive iodine, and surgery. First we will see the antithyroid drug, rest, sedation, beta adrenergic blockers, that is the propranolol should be started to restore the patients with euthyroid state, to maintain this for long period. Drug interfere organic findings of the iodine in the thyroid or inhibit coupling of the iodothyroxine. Hence the decrease the formation of the thyroid hormones. Propylthiouracil, that is the PTU, dose is 100 mg in 300 ml. Thyroid decrease the thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins. Carbimazole 10 times more potent than propylthiouracil. Dose is 10 mg 4 times a day for 14 days. Thyroxine 0.2 mg daily to minimize the size and to counteract any chance of the iatrogenic insufficiency. Second line of treatment is the radioactive iodine, to destroy the thyroid cell, to reduce the mass of the thyroid functioning tissue. Average dose is 7 to 9 mCi of 131 iodine and approximately 8,500 rats. Now the surgery preoperative preparation. Any antithyroid drugs bring the patient to euthyroid state. If surgery done too soon after control of the thyrotoxicosis, there is a risk of the thyroid crisis, that is the thyroid storm. Control thyrotoxicosis with iodide or iodine. 5 drops of the level solution, potassium iodide, that is the 10 milligram with 100 ml, and iodide or iodine 5 milligram with 100 ml 2 to 3 times for 10 days prior to surgery to decrease the size and vascularity of the thyroid gland. Thyroxine may be used instead to iodine. Propranolol, that is the beta adrenergic blocker drug, 40 milligram TDS for 7 days. Advantage is to decrease the pulse rate and tremors and anxiety. The subtotal thyroidectomy, preoperatively laryngoscopy should be performed. Thyroid scan, laryngoscopy for normal movement of the larynx. Thyroid scan should be mandatory, and detection of the thyroid antibodies. Neck incision is to be taken, leaving a remnant of the 1/8 of each lobe, both sides of the thyroid gland, that is the 4 to 5 gram on each side should be kept there for the normal function of the thyroid. And post-operative care is the indirect laryngoscopy to confirm the vocal cords movement, normal movements, and serum calcium after 6 weeks to exclude the parathyroid insufficiency. Is there the chances of parathyroidectomy also? So serum calcium after 6 weeks should be done. Calcium plus vitamin D3 should be checked regularly. Here is the types of the thyroidectomy: thyroid lobectomy, unilateral subtotal thyroidectomy, total thyroidectomy, clearly seen in this picture. Types of the thyroidectomy is also seen. Here is now the post-operative care in the thyroid operation, that is the two groups. One is the immediate complication and second is the late. In the immediate, there is a hemorrhage, infection, recurrent laryngeal nerve paralysis, thyroid crisis or storm, respiratory obstruction due to the laryngeal edema, parathyroid insufficiency or tetany. And in the late complications, there is a thyroid insufficiency, maybe there is a recurrent thyrotoxicosis, progressive exophthalmos, hypertrophic or keloid scar. Now the thyroid crisis or storm. What is the thyroid crisis and the thyroid storm are, in which the severe thyrotoxic reaction is there, acute exacerbation of the hyperthyroidism, appearance suddenly within 3 to 4 days, tachycardia, restlessness, fever and delirium. Treatment is the sedation for hyperpyrexia, ice bag, cold sponging, rapid sponging, hypothermic blanket, rectal ice irrigation, oxygen supply, potassium to control the tachycardia, cortisone 100 mg should be given IV, Lugol's iodine, propranolol, beta adrenergic blocker 20 to 40 mg for 6 hourly. Secondary toxic goiter is a condition when the toxicity superimposed on the previously pathological goiter, that is called as secondary toxic goiter. Rare cases of the thyrotoxicosis are the early stage of subacute or dequerence thyroiditis, may cause mild hyperparathyroidism due to the excess liberation of the thyroid hormones from the damaged thyroid, jet-based dose syndrome, large doses of the iodine given to the hyperplastic endemic goiter, thyrotoxicosis ectasia. Hyperthyroidism may develop by taking the L-thyroxine, trauma ovary, thyroid tissue in the ovary, iatrogenic hyperthyroidism, over treatment of the hypothyroidism, disseminated thyroid autonomy due to the mass of the secondary carcinoma may produce sufficient hormone to bring the patient to hyperthyroid state. Neonatal thyrotoxicosis due to the high LATS LATs titer present in the mother serum. Now the tumors of the thyroid. First is the benign tumor. This is the adenomas, particularly follicular adenoma. Adenoma, almost all benign thyroid tumors arise from the granular epithelium. Follicular adenoma, papillary adenoma is there. Malignant neoplasms are follicular cell origin, differentiated and undifferentiated variety. Differentiated are papillary carcinoma constitutes the 60%, follicular carcinoma, that is the 15%, mixed papillary and follicular carcinoma constitutes undifferential like anaplastic carcinoma, which constitutes 30%, parafollicular cell origin medullary carcinoma only 6%, non-thyroid cell origin malignant lymphoma constitutes 4%, and there is non-thyroid cell origin sarcoma and metastatic carcinoma. Dear students, here is the image showing the thyroidal tumor in yellow color. This is the second image to showing the diffuse tumor of the thyroid. Now the etiology of these tumors are iodide deficiency, external irradiation, ionization radiation, autoimmune thyroiditis. Spread of the thyroid cancers through the direct spread, lymphatic spread and blood spread. Treatment is the chemotherapy, chlorambucil, adriamycin and vincristine is the choice of chemotherapy, chemotherapeutic drugs. Surgery is total thyroidectomy. Medullary carcinoma does not respond to thyroxine therapy or radioiodine to external radiation. Prognosis 5-year survival rate is there. Now the next point is the thyroiditis. This is the condition in which the infective thyroiditis is quite less present and it is quite rare. Chronic thyroiditis, that is the Hashimoto's disease. Hashimoto's disease or autoimmune thyroiditis is the lymphadenitis goiter or chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis is there. Etiology, autoimmune disease to become the sensitive to its own cell constituents and thyroglobulin. 4 autoantigens detected in the thyroiditis are thyroid cell microsomes, thyroid cell nuclear components, thyroglobulin and non-thyroglobulin colloid. Pathology of the thyroiditis are the enlargement may be asymmetric and even nodular. Disruption of the epithelium cells and remaining epithelial cells become larger and slow oxyphilic changes. Now the clinical features of the thyroiditis are shortness of breath, fatigue, increase in weight, all related to the hypothyroid state. Treatment is patient is euthyroid, no treatment is requirement. If hypothyroidism, replace the dose of the thyroxine and surgical treatment is excision of the lobectomy. Now the Dequerens disease, that is the subacute thyroiditis. In this condition, this is the granulomatous thyroiditis, autoimmune disease. Pathology, enlargement of the follicle of thyroid with infiltration of the lymphocytes, neutrophils and large mononuclear cells. Clinical features are thyroid becomes acutely congested, swollen and mildly tender, prodromal system, fever, malaise. Treatment is corticosteroids, prednisolone 40 mg daily for 7 days. Thyroiditis is the chronic inflammatory process involves one or both lobes of the thyroid. Now the hypothyroidism, clinical manifestations are cretinism, newborn, juvenile hypothyroidism during childhood, hypothyroidism in the adult. Her treatment is the hormonal replacement therapy, L-thyroxine 1.5 mg per day, L-iodothyronine 0.75 mg per day. Now the next is the ectopic thyroid tissue. Aberrant thyroid tissue may be found in the lingual thyroid, thyroglossal ectopic thyroid, stroma ovary, ovarian teratoma include thyroid tissue. Now the parathyroid. Embryology of the parathyroid are 2 superior parathyroids arises from the 4th brachial pouch, 2 inferior parathyroids arises from the 3rd brachial pouch along with the thymus and descend during the fetal life with the thymus. Anatomy of the parathyroids are 2 pairs, that is the superior 2 and inferior 2. Total 4 glands of the parathyroids. Small endocrine glands, superior parathyroid IV develops from the endoderm of 4th pharyngeal pouch and inferior parathyroid, that is the parathyroid 3 develops from the 3rd pouch. Now parathyroid secretes the hormone parathormone, then it metabolism of calcium or phosphorus along with the thyrocalci tumor. Dimension is a 6 by 4 by 2 mm, oval and lentiform in shape. Each gland weight about 50 milligram. Weight is 40 milligram. 140 milligram. Total weight of 4 normal glands is 140 milligram. Histologically thin connective tissues capsule. 3 varieties of the chip cells. One is dark chip cell, second is light chip cells, third is the clear chip cells according to the depth of the staining. Arterial supply of the hypothyroid glands are through the inferior thyroid artery. Nerve supply vasomotor nerve from the middle and superior cervical ganglion. Now the physiology of the parathyroid glands are calcium metabolism is the main function. Adult human body contains 1110 gram of the calcium, 1.5 gram of the body weight. Most of the calcium in the skeleton. Plasma calcium level is 10 milligram per 100 ml. Calcium are important in coagulation, cardiac and skeletal muscle contraction and nerve function. Calcium in bone, there are 2 types, readily exchangeable reservoir and stable calcium. High protein diet increases the absorption of the calcium from the intestine. Vitamin D promote the absorption of the calcium, and sun rays, early morning sun rays are the good source of the vitamin D. Parathyroid hormones acts on the kidney, decreases the calcium clearance, causes increase of the excretion of the phosphate in the urine, increases the bicarbonate excretion, decreases in tubular reabsorption of phosphate and phosphaturia. This causes for the increase in the plasma of calcium. Second is the skeleton parathyroid hormone promote release of the calcium from the bone, which stimulates the osteoclasticity activity and it converts the osteoblasts to osteoclast. Now third is on the gastrointestinal tract. Direct stimulatory effects on intestinal absorption of calcium occurs only when vitamin D is present. Regulation of the parathyroid hormones are mainly by the circulatory level of the ionized calcium. When increases calcium level, it secretes is diminished and calcium deposition in the bone. When decreases the calcium level, its secretion is increased and calcium is removed from the bone. Increases plasma phosphate level stimulates parathyroid secretion. So the parathyroid hormone is playing the most important role in the renal formation also. Hyperparathyroid, primary hyperparathyroid etiology is a renal leak of the calcium, low dose of the ionizing irradiation. Clinical features are hypercalcemia, calcification in soft tissues, bone disease, gross generalized cystic bone diseases, osteoitis, fibrosa and cystica, bizarre representation, gastroduodenal ulcer, pancreatitis, and hypertension. Special nutrition, serum calcium level index is the calcium level by 7.4 divided by the protein level of the blood, serum phosphate, serum alkylase phosphate, hyperchloremic acidosis, determination of the parathyroid hormone, barium swallow, thermography, arteriography, scanning, catheterization and radioimmunoassay, pre-operative localization, dry studies during operation. Treatment is for surgery. 3.5 glands are removed, leaving the half of the fourth gland with a long black silk suture. Post-operative management is a hypocalcemia, tingling or numbness, IV 10 ml of 10% of calcium gluconate with vitamin D, 8 mg of dihydrotestosterol per day should be given. Now the next point is the hyperparathyroid crisis. Clinical features of this condition are muscular weakness, fatigue and confusion. Treatment is diuretic, oral phosphate or IV neutral phosphate, IV isotonic solutions of sodium phosphate. And next point is the hypoparathyroidism, damage to the parathyroid glands, that is Chostek's sign, abnormal contraction of the facial muscles elicited by the tapping on the facial nerve anterior to the ear. Second is the Taussier's sign, occluding of the blood flow to the forearm for 3 minutes with sphygmomanometer cuff applied to the arm and raising the pressure above systolic level. This will include the carpopedal spasm. Treatment is a calcium therapy plus vitamin D, IV calcium gluconate 10 ml of 10%. Epidermolysis. Next point is the epidermolysis, an endocrine tumors which arises from the Apud cells. Apud was first proposed by the Pierce in 1968. Initial later is the APD, amine high content precursor, update from environment the capacity of the mine. D, carboxylase from the conversion of amino acid to amine. Average diameter of Apud cells is 100 to 200 nanomilligram. Classifications: orthoendocrine, insuloma and gastroma, paraendocrine adenoma syndrome, that is the PES, multiple endocrine adenopathy, that is the MEA. Dear students, here is I tried to explore the all points regarding the thyroid and parathyroids. To know the details, you can refer text surely. Here is the end of our surgery lecture number 97, that is the thyroid and the parathyroid. Thank you.